This episode of the Demonic Compendium contains spoilers for the following games. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to a snack-packed new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. A wise person once said, "The proof of the pudding is in the eating," which means you need to experience something to understand it. So, peel back those lids and roll for initiative, because today, we're talking about Black Ooze. Black Ooze is an interesting demon in the franchise because it doesn't necessarily come from any one country's particular mythology or folklore. In fact, certain compendium entries like Shin Megami Tensei 1 or Imagine specifically mention that its country of origin is unknown, and many modern titles also leave out any one designated legend or inspiration by making it seem like it stems from Megami Tensei itself, often referring to the Black Ooze as what happens when a demon fails to take on a proper shape. But that's all a ruse to hide Black Ooze's true origins, as a sneaky reference to the iconic tabletop RPG Dungeons & Dragons. Ever since the game's earliest versions in 1974, a known monster in the game was the Black Pudding, which even appeared in the first monster manual in 1977. In later versions of the game, other puddings, slimes, and gelatinous monsters were grouped together in the Ooze category. So basically, they combined the Black Pudding and Ooze to create a distinct Megaten demon named Black Ooze. The earliest monster manual says that the Black Pudding is a monster composed of groups of single cells, and that it's a hunter-scavenger that can dissolve wood or metal to get to food. This does line up with many Megaten games that discuss how what it mostly does is eat and grow. Black Ooze's compendium entry from Shin Megami Tensei 5 refers to it as an amoeba-like monster that attacks and eats people. Supposedly, it is actually a demon that failed to take a form and now roams in search of Magatsuhi. It is said that when a slime's ability to absorb Magatsuhi goes out of control, it transforms into a Black Ooze. Design-wise, Black Ooze has had two major depictions in the franchise, and much like when I talked about Blob a couple of years ago, they're both palette swaps of the original slime design. But where slime is green with some lighter green accents and red eyes, Black Ooze is, unsurprisingly, black with kind of these darker reddish, purplish accents and orangish yellow eyes, respectively. Speaking of those eyes, this is actually a demon where I feel that recent games making it more accurate to the Kaneko art actually hurts it a little bit. The artwork has the orangish yellow eyes, and so do most recent games, like Persona 5 or SMT 5. But the earlier 3D versions of this demon had these bright greenish yellow eyes that had these prominent looking circular patterns in them. I actually really liked these, and I thought it did a good job separating Black Ooze from the traditionally weaker slime demon variants. I guess these kind of circle things technically are still there in the newer games, but they're definitely not as apparent. In the Devil Summoner era, slime had an alternate model that was a bunch of gunk collected over some type of skeleton. It wasn't until Raido Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon that Black Ooze got a design to match this style, though seeming much less black and more some swirling shades of purple that honestly looks kinda tasty, like a black raspberry pudding. Am I nuts? Why am I hungry? As far as game history goes, despite often being the strongest of the slime demons, Black Ooze doesn't actually have that many distinct roles. Despite its compendium entry in Shin Megami Tensei 5 saying that slimes transform into Black Ooze, there hasn't been a single game where that's actually the case, and Black Ooze has never had a conversation with them either. However, Black Ooze is one of the required demons to fuse Lamu, and there are a few boss variations of Black Ooze in the MMO title Shin Megami Tensei Imagine. In the mobile game, Shin Megami Tensei Liberation D2, Black Ooze has a few small roles in events and side quests. In the Halloween event, Halloween Partiho, the summoning character, Arisa, dresses up as a Black Ooze, potentially in a direct reference to their lore discussing their failure to achieve a proper form. Black Ooze also appears in Templar Dragon's special D2 questline, where Rika is invited to a suspicious airsoft tournament and ends up ambushed by demons upon her arrival, including a powerful Black Ooze. I guess it's also worth mentioning that D2 is currently the only game to use the skeletal slime design, but the globule Black Ooze design. In Devil Summoner 2, Raido Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon, Raido can't recruit Black Ooze by speaking to it, so your only option is to have Victor fail a fusion for you, which can get you one of the 3 slime variants. Its compendium in this game also mentions the demon's hunger as it looks for magnetite. While this next one may not specifically be Black Ooze, I think it's worth mentioning the peculiar Valentine's Day treat whipped up by Nanako in Persona 4 Golden. The colors are different, but this is very distinctly the slime model, and the scene involved Yu Narukami learning the hard way that sometimes the proof really is in the pudding, so I thought it'd be a fun mention here. Black Ooze officially joined the Persona series in Persona 5 as a member of the Moon Arcana, where its shadow self was known as Pulsing Mud. Sending Black Ooze to the electric chair offers different skill cards depending on which game you're playing and other conditions. In classic Persona 5, Black Ooze creates the Stagnant Air skill card, but will create the Headbutt skill card in Persona 5 Royal, or the Memory Blow card if an alarm is currently active. One of Black Ooze's most prominent appearances is in the sequel game Persona 5 Strikers. Futaba eventually puts out the repeatable request Shocking the Scum, which involves defeating 20 Black Ooze by exploiting their weakness to electricity. The first time players complete this mission, they'll receive the Demon Pipe Weapon for Ryuji and a revival bead on subsequent completions. And so, there you have it, Black Ooze, the goopy, gelatinous, grim glob of griminess generated by Gary Gygax. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I will see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.